This past fall, we went on an epic adventure. We drove over 100 hours covering 6,600 miles in our Class B RV. We started in Phoenix, Arizona. We went through Texas, up through Tennessee, Virginia, up to Bar Harbor, Maine, into Canada, through Vermont, to New York City, New Jersey, and then we drove it all the way back home, where we are right now, Phoenix, Arizona. But as you know, the work doesn't stop once you get home. So it's time to dive into some much needed RV maintenance and fix that pesky little leak that plagued us our entire trip.
So I've already taken care of some of the basics. I started with the oil change, doing a simple oil change, just draining the oil, changing the oil filter, and then refilling everything. While I had the hood open, I also decided to go ahead and change the air filter. So here's my new air filter. I personally prefer the white ones so that you can see how dirty they are pretty easily. Sometimes the Fram ones are like a yellowish color and you just can't really tell how dirty it actually is when it's kind of starts off at that yellow color, especially here in the desert where we get so much dust. But these white ones, boy, it's easy to tell when they're dirty. So basically had to take all of that apart, get it put back together. Was actually quite a bit of effort to get into that thing and get it changed out. I was quite surprised how challenging it was, but I was able to get in there, get it done. When I got back, I also wanted to go ahead and take care of some of the items that were kind of bothering me on the trip. So I went ahead and ordered LED upgrades for the headlights and the fog lights. They finally offer some good LED upgrades for the ProMaster, the older models now, where you don't have to like silicone in the new fixtures. You can just simply basically unplug the existing bulbs and then plug the new ones in. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward upgrade. So that was a really nice option. And the other thing I did was actually change out the fog lights. And I was actually impressed how easy it was. It literally was unplug them and plug them back in. And it was super simple and straightforward to do. So now we're getting into the fun stuff, and we are going to talk about the water leaks. So if you recall back in episode 3 of our trip, that was my first attempt when we found the water leak. And we were in a Walmart parking lot. We woke up.
Were we in a Walmart? Oh, in Maine.
We were in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
In a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, we were.
And I remember crawling, I can't remember, I was getting something underneath the bed.
Yep.
And my entire right leg was wet. And so we looked into it a little bit more and we realized we had some water leak that was very difficult to find. Must be. The rug's all wet too.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take this panel off and dig into this. It's only wet in this corner. Well, it's not wet back here at the back side of the tank.
Okay.
That's good. The only thing it could be is one of these connections under, like, around this water tank, because there's like a hot water, there looks like a hot water drain. There's 3 cold water lines. One of them goes outside. None of these connections are loose.
I know, and it
on
doesn't
the tank.
Does it even look wet?
I mean, it does look wet underneath here.
Yeah.
And back up there. It's really hard to see because
Yeah.
it's just a bad angle.
Right. Wait, where's water?
Right here.
Oh. That would be great if it was right there, right?
Yeah. Just happened to be pushing my hand in there to basically tighten this up and was like, why is it wet? Oh, right there.
Oh, there's the leak.
Man,
Dang. So you never touch those?
I've never touched these. They're all like not even finger tight. Well, I guess it was easy to find.
Yep.
So as you guys can see, I thought I had fixed it. I thought that the faucet or the shower mix valve was leaking in the shower, but I was wrong. And it continued to leak, although everything kind of dried out and seemed to be fine for a little while.
We literally were like, yes, we're done. High five.
Yeah. Now, I will say, some of those connections were loose, but apparently they weren't the ones that were leaking.
Yeah. No, that was just the first leak.
Right. Right. So let's see, what did we do after that?
I think once we got to Canada, I think I was like using the sink and the pump had been on and I was using the sink, and then all of a sudden I spotted from the wall a little thing of water coming out of the wall.
Right, right. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So then I thought it was a pump problem, because I remember you were using the water and the pump had been on for a really long time, and I thought, oh, it has to be something, you know, like a loose connection where, you know, the water was leaking because of that.
Yeah.
Yes, so if I remember right, we left Canada and then we were going to Vermont, and that's where we were going to stay at the Home Depot to try to fix it.
That's right.
But we'll play that footage right here.
Attempt
of number 2.
number 2. So what's your plan of attack?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is take this panel off, see what I can see underneath the shower pan. And if I can't see anything there, then I'm going to go back to behind the wall where I thought I found the leak earlier.
Wow.
Well, I don't see much.
Do you even see any water damage?
The water I can see is, so there's a heating vent right here. It's back behind there. I can ever so slightly see, but I already knew that was there. But where's the source? All right, I'm gonna have to dig into the shower.
Does it look wet behind there?
You can't see down.
Here's your light. I don't see anything wet.
Well,
Maybe it's the water tank now. Is it wet down there?
if you look, there's like a sign of dripping right there.
Is the ground wet?
That's all. I mean, not really.
What about over here?
But it could have ran down the backside of this.
Because this is wet. This isn't wet anymore though.
I know, but that's because it's like squishy right there.
Oh no.
Look at.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that there'd be water down there.
But you can also see there appears to be some water.
Or something.
Jesus Christ.
Shoot.
I mean, could they have put that any stinking tighter so that it like rubs against the panel? Yeah, go ahead and turn the water pump back on.
It's crazy that we don't see any actual wetness anywhere.
Well, that's because there's like multiple holes in the floor. Like, there's a hole, overflow. There's a hole, drains. There's a hole, drain. It's like Swiss cheese in the floor, so yeah, go ahead, turn the water pump on.
Well, I'm kind of at a loss. I've had the pump on. I've found no leaks. I've taken the water tank apart, done a full inspection, video cameraed where I couldn't see very well. Took the panel off underneath the shower so that I could barely see underneath there. There doesn't appear to be any more water lines. I know that there's obviously a cold water line that runs from the water tank up to the water pump and then a hot water back, but I can't actually see them without like taking apart the entire van. I'd have to like take that seat off to see the transition behind the shower, take your bed off to see that. but I don't know where it's coming from because it's not leaking right now.
It was leaking this morning when I was running the water, and it was coming from the corner of the shower down the floor, just a little line. You want me to? I videoed that if you want to see it.
Unless there's a connection on the water tank that's loose.
That's what I'm thinking.
But
and it just dried today.
it would have dried because we turned the.
See, I think it
why would
leaks when we use that sink.
But I can see all of those water lines, and they're not leaking right now.
We're gonna use all of our water. Wonder if we can find a water fill up. So the leak earlier was right there in that corner.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
Found nothing?
Nothing.
Weird.
So you guys can see that I actually couldn't find the leak, which was really frustrating. So I think from there, what we did is we just kept the water level really, really low in the water tank, so there was no pressure.
Yeah.
We used the water as little as possible just to try to get us by. And we just really had to wait until we got home because I needed to tear the entire thing apart, you know, to get into that water tank to get a better look at everything. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that on the road.
Okay, so then, that brings us to attempt number 3. And I believe we were here.
Yes.
And you end up tearing everything apart. And you did find one leak and were able to fix it.
Yep.
Only to find 2 more separate leaks.
Okay, so we were able to find the root cause of the main leak.
So play that footage where Bob does fix the leak, but finds a couple more.
Yep. So we have finally been able to find where our leak is coming from. It is actually the fitting on the tank itself. So I need to basically lift up the tank, get access to that fitting, and then put some new compound on there and reseal everything up. So wish me luck. Let's get started. Okay, I'm just gonna use this.
Never getting them out again.
Just use those as a spacer so that I can get in here.
Okay.
Wow, that's super loose.
Is that part of the problem?
Part of it. Can't tell if the gasket's in there. I might actually have to use the camera to look at it. But this is the fitting right here that's leaking. This one right here.
Yeah.
So I have to spin that out. Clean these threads. And then I've got some new.
So that was the problem.
This fitting is the problem. So the root cause of it is a little more challenging because I don't know if it's. I need to do a quick check of the tank itself to make sure that it's not cracked. I don't think it is. I need to check to verify. So now I just need to get a light so I can shine it in there and check. Whoa! I don't see any signs of cracking. So now I am going to put on some of this Rector seal and then put some additional Teflon tape on it. And hopefully this does the trick. So I've been keeping the Rector seal in my pocket to warm it up so that I can hopefully spread it on here nice and smoothly. And then I'll cover it with Teflon tape to try to hold it in place on the threads. And then we'll get this thing back in there. The idea is that this pipe thread sealant will hold it in place and kind of harden over time. It'll still allow it to flex and move if it needs to, but then the Teflon tape basically helps hold it in place on the threads while I thread it in so I get a good seal. I've got the challenge, trying to thread it back in there. Oh, see, that's tight. This is my problem because it's right here.
Where do you need it?
I need it to point exactly so that it meets up with that.
Ooh, so what are you gonna do?
I either have to go one more time around and risk cracking that or back it back out.
Good luck.
You know what I could do?
Nope.
I could add more Teflon tape to try to stiffen that. So I wanted to see how far it actually went in. It goes in about half the thread length, which is good to know, but I over tightened it, I think. So I'm gonna redo it and then not go so tight. I'm gonna actually put a little more Teflon tape and goo on there. Ow, that's my finger.
Okay.
Okay.
Take two.
Take two. Now I think we're ready. Ready?
Ready.
I'm trying to not over tighten everything. Next thing to do, secure the water tank down, fill it up with water, take it for a test drive. I mean, I don't know why they have it so tight like that. They literally, this is supposed to be like supported and up and down. Anyway, I'm annoyed. I will fix it and do it right. But, yeah, one more thing I need to do.
Your hat's all on sideways. That's fitting.
Because I'm crazy. All right. Well, I need to run out and turn the water off here in a second. I don't want to overfill it, especially now since that fitting is leaking.
Yeah, but this one's good. We just need to drive now.
For now, we need to drive with it and see.
Oh, and turn on the pump.
Yeah, you do need to make sure the pump runs with no problem. So, oh, hold on. No, there's another one. Look. Right there.
Oh my gosh. Is everything leaking?
Apparently. They did such a terrible job installing that. The fitting is literally in the frame. How are you supposed to tighten that? And yet again, they used a self-tapping metal screw into some wood to hold this filter down. Lovely. Appreciate it, guys. Nice work. Okay, so I just tightened all these fittings. Hopefully that should stop leaking. These are wood screws. Notice the large thread and the point. Okay, let's put this like right there. There you go. Look at that. Now we can actually like maintain it and tighten it down and check our fittings. Okay, I'm going to turn the pump on and run the faucet. You check this filter, make sure everything is not leaking anymore.
Look right, you see that? It's almost like that line.
Where's my paper towel? Here, let's see.
Uh-huh. Okay, try it again. Let's see.
Well, so this is a two-piece valve. So you see the threads on top?
Yeah.
See, there's water right there.
Mm-hmm. So what's this mean? Oh no.
Well, one of two things. I didn't dry it when I was over here last time. It was just from when it initially leaked, or it's still doing it. Well, let me see.
It's still doing it.
That's the check valve. I actually have to take it apart. So that brings us to attempt number 4. And so I was able to get in there and have everything apart, have easy access, and get to the parts that I needed to change out. So play that footage right here. All right, we're back for attempt number 4. So I have to tear into the bed again. Believe it or not, there's only 4 of these screws holding this bed on. All right, now we can see where we need to make all these repairs because we've had 2 additional leaks. First one was here on the fill line for the gravity fill for the water tank. The second was this pressure control valve right here, or I think it's a valve, but this pressure reducer, it leaks. And I think this should be fairly easy. All we have to do is unthread the fittings and then thread the new one back on. This is going to be a little more difficult, and I've got a bunch of new parts to try to make this work.
So in attempt number 3, the leak down here at the suction side of the water tank, I don't know if you can see it from where you're at, but like right there, I was able to get that to seal. And as you can see, our water tank has got, I don't know, 3/4 full. And we have been driving the van around and have had no additional leaks. So I think we finally solved that one. So this is the pressure reducer. It is 2 bars or like 30 PSI. And it was leaking from this seam that it has right here. Actually, right there you can see there's a little tiny hole. That's where it was leaking. So I'm replacing it with this one. And it also is 30 PSI. So make sure you can read the label. Well, that's perfect. Nice and snug now. So our gravity fill is actually leaking right here. This really, I mean, they have this as tight as they possibly can and it barely fits. So I bought some additional fittings to make that much nicer and stronger. So got to take it apart now. See, it's split right here. That's where it's leaking. Because it's too tight. I'm gonna have to go get some more tools, I think. I was hoping that this would just slide right off.
Huh.
But no. Nothing's ever easy with Mr. Lemon.
Nope.
I don't want to break it. Here, I gotta take this off because this is annoying. All right. Shoot. That's what I was afraid of. It's so brittle. I'm gonna actually have to cut that off. You hand me the utility knife. It's right there on the floor, maybe. Boy, I barely had to even cut that off. It was just
It's just old.
Just
I mean,
old.
We've had Mr. Lemon for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so I bought a brand new one of these fittings because I had a feeling this one was in pretty rough shape, which it was. And then if you want to hand me the 2 fittings behind you. So what we're basically going to do is thread this back into the tank. I'll use this new piece of hose to basically butt these up right against each other. And then that way it'll kind of sit like that. Let's get this party started. There's a little measuring tape in that Amazon kit. You hand that to me. Just want to request one tool at a time. So let's see, that's 1.5 inches. That's 1.5 inches, so I need to be about 3.5 inches. I think that looks pretty good. Would you hand me the hose clamps behind you?
These?
Yep.
All 3?
Sure. That way I won't have to ask you for another one.
You don't want to do one at a time?
I mean, I kind of do. There. Now that is going to hold some water back. Now we just need to force it on here. I've got some strapping in case we decide to re-support this, but what I'd like to do is actually get the hose, fill this up, actually force it to overflow so that we can actually check to make sure that that doesn't leak, nor does that.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Okay, he's filling it. Yeah, I do see it. So far, so good.
No leaks?
That's kind of cool though. Now it's clear and you can see the water going in. What do you?
Yeah, that looks good.
No leaks?
I was thinking I wonder if I need to support that hose.
Do you want to? How's this doing?
Well, we got to turn the water pump on
Oh,
to test this one. So I want to check this first because, you know, it's kind of a big deal. Okay, so now it's going to basically pressure up and you hear it go. Oops.
oh, geez. Did you get all wet? I'm very impressed with Bob.
Got a little wet. But,
How do you,
wait, is there water down there?
is there? Was that from before? Oh no. Oh no.
That was not from before.
So what do you think?
I think I have to pull this off.
Oh no.
Try to get that on a little bit better. So in order to get that to spin freely, I had to disconnect it from the outside connection. So now I have to figure out if I can twist that back and get it to lock. And then I'll screw it back down again. In the right position.
So this is what you were talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Then I can put these screws back in now. That actually is good because now it's where it's supposed to be. Put this fancy door on the RV for the water, and it has a tank vent right here. They didn't even hook it up. So nice. I'm glad they did that. Okay, let's go inside and secure that properly now, and then we'll fill it up and test it. I feel more gooder about that. It's all nice and perfect now.
Okay. Okay.
It's not like running down the insulation over here. That,
I don't know.
no, it's looking good. It's backing up, creating pressure. Puking out the side of the van now. All right. Without getting wet, I'm gonna try to pull it out.
It's dry.
That time I didn't get drenched, only a little wet. All right. But I think I am done filling this. I'm done testing it. It's full. It's not wet up top. It's not wet in the back. Let's turn the water pump on. We'll run the sink and test it. No dripping.
Okay.
No dripping. Everything's looking good. I'm actually quite happy. I'm gonna put this thing back together. Let's hit the road.
As you guys can see, one, I had to replace the pressure control valve. Very difficult to find. Took me quite a bit of time to find that online, and then I had to wait for it to arrive. So if you're ever needing one of those, we'll leave a link in the description because they are incredibly hard to find. And then we were also able to change that water fill line and pressure test it. And of course, you know, I got wet and, you know, that was exciting. But we're able to test all of that. Everything works great. We tested the pump and we have left our water tank full so that as we are driving around, now we can check to make sure everything is holding properly. So I'm super stoked that we finally got to the bottom of all of those leaks.
All right. We're done.
We are done. Yes.
4 attempts
4 long attempts.
and 3 leaks fixed.
Yes. 3 leaks.
Actually,
Yeah.
4.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4
Yes.
leaks.
Yes. 4 leaks, 4 attempts, and probably 6 weeks to finally get everything taken care of. Boy,
Yeah.
it was a very long process.
Yeah.
Painful. Definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things about our water system that I did not know prior, but I just
Hey.
hope they hold and we don't have any more problems.
Here's the deal. You guys know. This is Mr. Lemon, right?
He's earned his name.
He's earned his name, but he's actually almost brand new at this point.
That's true.
He's becoming better and better.
It's getting better with age.
Yeah.
He's like wine.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That helps us out so much. Push subscribe if you haven't already. I think according to our stats, like we're kind of like 50-50 with 50% of you subscribed and 50% of you only watching but not subscribed. So if you can go check that for us, that would be great if you like our videos.
Yeah, it does really help out the channel and we
does.
appreciate it.
We appreciate
And we
all
also
of you.
love hearing from you guys in the comments.
We really do. Honestly, can't wait to meet you guys at some meetups that we have coming up very, very, very soon.
Yes.
Actually, I have some breaking news that Bob doesn't even know.
Oh.
So we may or may not be going to I think it's like the RV Florida Super Show, the middle of January in Florida.
Wow.
And we got approved for media passes today.
Oh, high five. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're hoping to do a meetup with you guys. But anyways, if you're gonna be there, let us know. More details coming. And again, nothing set in stone just yet. We're hoping to go.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, Bob's arm is killing him. Poor arm. Okay, we'll see you
All
guys
right.
in the next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.